Well, you talk about the mortgage rates and it could go up. I mean, what other factors we've talked about the fact it's a strong economy. I mean, what other factors play into that whole thing of, I think a lot of people on the sidelines are scratching their heads going, gosh, I really thought the rates were going to come down and yet they've just gone up. What other factors might play into that, Art?
Well, again, as I mentioned, the labor market. The labor
Mm,
market has not proven to be as soft as expected. And again, next Thursday, actually next Friday, it's going to be a really, really important day. That, and then the other thing is the GDP is scheduled to come out next week. The forecasts are it's going to be 3.4%, which would be an
wow.
increase from second quarter. So, and it's very odd, when you consider what the news is about how a majority of the country thinks the economy is not in great shape. Well, yes and no. I mean, the economy is in great shape when you look at economic activity. There is growth. The economy is doing pretty darn well. But I think where the grumpiness comes in of the general public is the economy is not so well because everything costs more. Everything costs more, a lot more. Gasoline, although gasoline's gotten a little better the last few months, but your groceries are still real expensive. Your food bill in terms of going out to restaurants and so forth is still, the prices are much higher than they were before the pandemic. And one of the things that we're seeing, I think, is this sort of conflict between, oh, the economy's lousy, I'm worse off than I was, 4, 5, 10 years ago, but yet people are spending the money anyway. So it's like they're spending the money and they're complaining about it, but they're still spending it. And again, we're 70% a service economy, and the service sector seems to be doing just quite well, very fine. And so as a consequence, that's why I think even if the Fed lowers the Fed funds rate a couple more times this year and does it a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 times next year, that in itself should not be looked at as what you should wait for mortgage rates to fall. I think that's not a good bet. I think that's kind of a fool's game. I don't think you want to do that. So I think you need to embrace the current conditions because some of these conditions I think are very conducive to trying to go out and buy a home now.